So the whole point of life on this planet, as described by Swedenborg, is that here we can act differently. You can think and feel one way, but yet act and talk a different way. And that makes it so that we have a chance to reform. Because if we were all just stream of consciousness, saying whatever came to us, acting on whatever impulses we had, you never change as a person because you just go with what you are. Here we have the chance to change, and it's freedom that allows us to do that. And because of that, we cannot be compelled to do things. We have to reform, change our inner self. If we're going to have a more heavenly inner self or spirit, we have to do that freely. And Swedenborg has this great treatise on it in Divine Providence 136, however, is too long. So we're just going to summarize it here. First, he says, nobody is reformed through threats or punishment because they compel. So you can't change somebody spiritually through threats and through punishment because that makes it so that that they lose their freedom. Also, what is outside us cannot control what is inside us. Right? So external compulsions, they can change your behavior, but they can't change what is deep within you. However, what is inside of us, it can control what is outside, right? I mean, that's pretty basic. You think and feel a certain way. You can use that to act on the body, change your behaviors, change your environment around you. However, the resisting of the inner part of us is such that whenever we feel like we're being compelled externally, we actually turn the other way. We can't be forced. And you see that pretty clearly in little kids, right? You say, can you go do this? No, I don't want to do that. Even if they actually do want to do it, they just don't want you to tell them to do it. And we all have that within us. Essentially, we cannot be forced to believe or love anything. We can be forced to do things or say things, but on a deeper level, we can't be forced to love something or believe anything. And our inner nature wants to stay in freedom. It loves its freedom. It wants to be able to send things freely into the world. So when something free feels like it's being controlled, it turns the other way, as we said. It also withdraws. It also pulls away from the thing compelling it. So any compulsion towards belief is harmful. He says it's especially harmful to try to compel people to worship God. So there you have an issue with these sort of theocratic societies who say you have to be religious, you have to live a religious life. That actually damages the freedom, which is the way that we connect with God. Also, though, compulsory worship. There have been utopian kind of societies that have this forced worship. You have to worship a certain way. Swedenborg says that actually shuts evil inside us. If we have negative tendencies, it locks them in because we have this false outer spiritual life, which causes us harm. But if we're free to go pursue our own spirituality, that actually, we get to see our evils get to be let out, but then they dissipate. That's the spiritual growth you get when you're coming at something because you're really liking it. You know, to close, in summary, the inner nature always resists external compulsion. So if you're going to make a society where you want everybody to have a good mind and a good heart, forcing people to have those things isn't going to work. So are we all just, can the world not get any better? You know, because we've all got issues. We know other people that have issues. So how do issues get better? Swedenborg says that we actually, while we can't be compelled externally, we can and actually should compel ourselves. Divine Providence 145. This is a number about self-compulsion, which might seem like a contradiction to freedom, but it's not in Swedenborg's world. Self-compulsion is not inconsistent with rationality and freedom. Since we are human because of our inner thought, which is actually the human spirit, it follows that we are compelling ourselves when we force our outer thought processes to consent or to accept the pleasures of our inner desires, the benefits that arise from our caring. Inner also meaning higher. So you're saying the better part of you is forcing the more antisocial part of you to be good. We can see that this is not inconsistent, but in accord with our rationality and freedom, since it is our rationality that starts this struggle and our freedom that pursues it. You know, we see that we want to change and then make the choice to change. Our essential freedom, together with our rationality, dwells in our inner self. and comes into our outer self from there. So when the inner conquers, which happens when the inner self has brought the outer self into agreement and compliance, then we are given true freedom and true rationality by the Lord. Then, that is, the Lord brings us out of that hellish freedom that is really slavery and into the heavenly freedom that is truly inherently free. And Swedenborg makes the interesting point that when we're compelling ourselves, when we feel like, there's a part of me that doesn't want to do this, but I know this is good, so I'm going to do it, that we're actually more free in that moment than we ever are. Even though it doesn't feel like it, because it feels like you're grinding against something, to make a choice that runs counter to a desire is the essence, is an essence, a deep part of the essence of freedom. And that kind of self-compulsion, that spiritual growth work, we have this certain way we are, we want to upgrade, put positive tendencies in for negative. That's how you change that inner substantial body we were talking about. And it's through changing that spirit that we can start to change the world around us.